Hi, I'm Christina Farnham. I am the new program manager for Solano County. I recently took over Don J. Sanders' position. And a story that I'm going to share today is about a 90-year-old veteran was, um, who I was able to help um, not get evicted from the facility he was at. This resident owed a lot of money. The facility had tried to take out his funds for his rent and the services there. Um, but unfortunately, every time they would try to take the money out, there was insufficient funds in his account. And so the facility notified me to try to come up with a resolution to see if he, would take the help. And so I met with this resident and I was able to help him. He knew me from other people, and he really enjoyed talking with me and our other employees with Empowered Aging. And so I explained to him, the reason why I was visiting him and to see if we can come up with something. And he shared everything with me. He shared that he had promised his late wife that he would take care of his stepson. And his stepson was between the ages of 50 and 60 years old. And he was starting to have his own business in Portugal where he was living. But in the meantime, um, the resident was giving him money on a monthly basis, and it was a lot. It was definitely affecting him, and he didn't realize it. So I was able to help the resident get with a fiduciary who was known in the community, and he interviewed him. The resident really, liked him. He was able to talk with him and felt comfortable, and so the resident um, ended up having the fiduciary take over his finances and become his power of attorney for health decisions. And so he would ask me to, if I could be involved, signing all the legal documents and making sure that um, everyone was on the same page of what he wanted. One of the biggest things that he wanted was to be buried in Arlington, Virginia. Since he, does have a military background, he was a colonel in the Air Force. And so, in the meantime of getting all of this set up, there were a lot of issues going on with his stepson, calling and threatening him and calling and threatening the facility. He had even threatened myself, and, just making accusations that were just false. And, we try to explain to him on so many levels that we're here just to help the resident so he wouldn't get evicted. I mean, he's a 90-year-old veteran who, has worked so hard to get where he was at. And to see him, almost get evicted because he was giving money and, being, wanting to help his late wife protect or, excuse me, um, financially help his son. We all had a conversation and said, this is what we're going to do. So the plan was the fiduciary was going to take over and pay for all of his bills, and any extra money that he had, he would just put it towards the funds of what he owed or the balance that he owed from the facility. Again, the stepson was not happy, but um, they had to just stop accepting his phone calls from the facility and our office as well, and just explain, and again, just doing what we are trained to do, and that's to advocate for our residents in any kind of situation. So things ended up working out. He was not evicted. They did not serve him with an eviction notice or anything like that. So it made me feel incredible that I was able to be a part of this story and be able to just help this veteran that, served our country. And I felt, blessed to be able to do that. And so since then, he has passed. He did pass away during the pandemic, but I can say that he is buried where he wanted to be in Arlington, Virginia. And the fiduciary did call me to let me know that everything went well and that, he is where he wanted to be. And so, as an ombudsman, we don't always have successful stories like this, but, we try our best. We try to do what we can. And, most of the times they are, happy endings, but we know that's not reality. We are going to have some that just don't end up well, but we are here for our residents and for the community. And so, um, thank you for listening to my story. And please, if you have any, questions or concerns or anything, please reach out to our office. Thank you. And
Thank you,
Don Jay?
Christina. This is a perfect example of how some of the challenges that you might not think about when it comes to the kind of work we're doing, and the fact that you were personally just singled out by the stepson. That's a scary thing, but you powered through and you listened to the resident, which is the best possible thing and the only possible solution for us and the work that we're doing.
Wow, Christina, that's such an amazing story. So thankful that you shared it. I was sitting here just thinking, it's such a hard balance. I know the community often thinks that we're mandated reporters, but we're not. But we are governed by the Older Americans Act. We have this information on our website, and you can research it as well, but also governed by state and federal guidelines. It's oftentimes a really hard balance between the two. Like, you have the stepson, you have our resident that we're advocating for. We always have to stay focused and aligned in terms of what the resident want. And people, they really don't understand what we do. So for you to stay firm in your training and recognize how you needed to help the resident, I think it's so amazing. I want this to resonate with folks that he's 90 years old. And with the support of Christina, he was able to advocate for himself where he's not evicted, he's not out in the street, and then he has someone managing his funds and his health decisions for him. I'm sure that people couldn't imagine, a 90-year-old, but he made those decisions for himself. And so that's what's so empowering. And I think your story, Christina, just brings home the complexity of the things that we do and how we have to just kind of balance ourselves. I think you handled yourself so well. It just gave me chills. It's just amazing. So thank you guys again for just taking us in as we're sitting here. It's just resonating with us as well. The work that we do. I think these stories are so extremely important. But yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you, Charmaine. Thanks for reminding us all of that. I think it's a really good reminder. It's mandated. The training that all of the staff members that you're seeing here go through is extensive.
Mm-hmm.
They have to understand all the laws and the mandates and the requirements and the personal human side of all the work they're doing, and which is exactly the point of what we're talking about.